Hey guys, so I want to kind of discuss why anxiety symptoms are scary. I think I'm going to give some of you guys a different perspective on your anxiety symptoms. Also, towards the end of it, I'm going to give you a thought process that helped me get out of my health anxiety. It really helped me get past my fear of a medical emergency or sudden death or something like that. So I know a lot of you guys struggle with that, so you want to watch this whole thing. So anxiety symptoms are scary. I think we do know that. But I think a lot of us think that they're scary just because they're uncomfortable and they're painful. But something that's going on, guys, that makes these uncomfortable symptoms even more intense and scary is that we're coupling fear with it. We're attaching fear with it, right? You're having these symptoms because to some extent you're in fight or flight. Now think of fight or flight as like a gas pedal. I mean, there's different levels, right? You can kind of be revving the engine, right? And you can have a few symptoms that'll spit out. You push it down maybe a little further, maybe you're getting into that anxiety attack range. And then you floor it and you got this full adrenaline push and you're in full fight or flight panic mode. And guys, with that, you have this tremendous desire to fight something or run away from something. It's fear. It's a mechanism that's in place to help you survive. The problem is there's no danger in front of us. Your body's acting like a tiger is right in front of you and it's growling and it's approaching, right? You got to either hightail it out of there or you got to figure out what you're going to do as far as fighting a tiger, gouge the eyes out, something, right? But you're not going to win that anyways. But that's how the body feels in that moment. But imagine getting all those symptoms, of having to face a tiger, right? But there's no tiger in front of you, right? So now it's like, okay, this is very, very scary because I don't feel like I'm in danger. I shouldn't be feeling all these symptoms and sensations. Oh my God, maybe I'm dying right now because that's what it feels like. I feel like I'm having a heart attack. I've got numbness and tingling. God, it's hard for me to breathe right now, even though you're getting all the oxygen that you need. I feel lightheaded and dizzy. Am I about to faint? Am I about to have cardiac arrest or go unconscious? Am I having a stroke? Is there something wrong? We point our finger at a medical condition because there's nothing dangerous happening around us. So that makes it really scary. But the big thing is that we have this impending doom, this terror that's kind of embedded in us. It's designed to be there to help us get out of these situations. But it's so freaking uncomfortable and scary whenever we're not using it to fight or run away. We are usually sitting on the couch, or we're in bed, or we're eating our dinner, or we're just standing around, and then it hits you, right? It would make sense if I was fighting somebody. It would make sense if I was sprinting away from something, for my heart to be, thumping 100 miles an hour. It would make sense for me to have all this tension if I was in a dangerous situation, but not whenever I'm just hanging out. So that's why it's even more scary, all right? Now, I told you guys I kind of wanted to give you a thought process. I don't know why I guess it has to do with what's going on, but it's just to show you how powerful the fear component is. Think about some of the worst pains that you've ever had in your life, right? What comes to mind in my situation, I've had some bad abscess teeth. I've probably had that happen to me 3 or 4 times. My genetics suck, so that's always happened. I've broken my arm in half, completely snapped it in half. It was a clean break, not a compound fracture. That hurt really badly. I've had horrible ear infections on and off my entire life. Thankfully, the past few years, I've been spared. I've cut my head open where I had to get like 10 or 12 stitches right over my left eye. And I've had some other things, some other pains that I've had. I've had gout, which is horrible pain for a couple weeks. And in those moments, something that was missing, or at least it wasn't as present, was the fear component. When I broke my arm in half, I was kind of focused on the pain. This sucks. We got to go to the hospital. But I wasn't panicking about it. You know what I mean? I wasn't freaking out about it or anything like that. I'm not saying everybody's the same as me, or, everybody's got their own pain thresholds or how they react. But in my situation, I was way more afraid whenever I was having a panic attack than I was after I snapped my arm. When I had an abscess tooth up here, this last one that I had, it's been a few years, it got really bad. My whole face swelled up, guys. I look like Quasimodo. I look like the dude from the Goonies. My wife I was just on like the 4th day, I was just laying in bed because at the time I didn't have dental insurance. We were trying to kind of figure out where we could go or what we could do. And she's like figured something out. She called an emergency dentist. She's like, you got to go. And I found out like I was almost going to go into septic shock and develop sepsis because of how much bacteria had built up in there. And they pulled it out and everything like that. But even during that, I was not freaking out like I would freak out if I had a panic attack. You know what I mean? The same thing with my stitches, and I was young. You know, it hurt. I was bleeding. They took me. I mean, I'm nervous at being like a 10-year-old, right? I was a little nervous, but I wasn't like, you know, freaking out. My heart wasn't racing and all this tension and tightness in my body. So think about some of the worst pains that you have. And I'll take it a step further. So in these situations where I was fearing like I'm having a heart attack, I had to ask myself, wouldn't a heart attack feel worse than an abscessed tooth? Okay, I would think so, right? A serious heart attack, right? It would hit you hard, feel like you're gonna collapse, tons of pain. Okay, so I think that would hurt worse than an abscess. So now ask yourself, as far as the physical symptoms that you're having, do these symptoms technically hurt as bad as an abscess? And for most of you, and attach it to whatever pain, really bad pain you've been through. For most of you, you'd probably say, no, this isn't technically as severe of a pain, right? As when I broke my arm or twisted my ankle or when I got stitches or got into a car accident. Technically, that pain was more painful, right? But what makes it so horrific? That fear component that I was just talking about. But also at the same time, this can help talk yourself out of a medical emergency. I feel like if I was having a major stroke, you know, it would feel different, right? Or hit a little worse than some of these other things that I've been through. If I was having a major heart attack right now, I think it would hit worse than some of these other pains that I've been through. If I was having some acute pancreatitis or appendicitis, and I'm not saying that some of these medical emergencies take a little bit more time to come to fruition, but a lot of these things kind of happen pretty suddenly, and it progresses very quickly, and the pain is very, very unbearable. So start asking yourself, are you technically feeling pain when you're having these anxiety attacks and panic attacks and symptoms worse than some of the worst pains that you've been through? All right, now would a medical condition or a medical emergency hurt worse than some of those pains that you've been through? Bad pains anyways? Yeah, probably. So I can then conclude what's happening is I am afraid, and the fear and the terror and the doom, the fight or flight, that survival instinct is kicking in, trying to keep me alive even though it's not necessary. Hopefully this video made sense. I know I might have been all over the place, but you have to figure out things like that work for you. So you can kind of talk yourself through your anxiety sometimes to calm yourself down a little bit, to ease the nerves, to get yourself to smell the roses and be like, okay, I'm not having a heart attack, you know? It doesn't even hurt as bad as me having a toothache, if I'm gonna be technical. So the terror, the doom, the fear, I think that's the biggest component of why anxiety symptoms are scary. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to downplay the pain that anxiety can cause. It can cause tension and cause headaches and cause joint pain and cause stomach pain, chest pains, all those things. But if I had to be 100% honest with myself, you know, whenever my chest would kind of hurt, you know, and have dull aches, or sometimes there was shooting pains, and I would have the really heavy pains at times whenever I would have really bad panic attacks. But that technically wasn't as severe as my arm snapping in half, you know. So this video may not be for everybody, but we just, you know, we have to figure out ways to talk to ourselves and talk to our subconscious to bring ourselves down. But anyways, I hope this video gave you value, guys. If you want more help with your anxiety, grab my course, Elite Anxiety Bootcamp. It's helping a lot of people. I'm going to put the link for that down below in the description in the first pinned comment. It's my step-by-step process that gives you the whole package, the lifestyle changes, the routine, the perception changes that you need to help you recover from your anxiety disorder. My coaching info is down there, guys. Check that out. A link for online therapy. And until next time, guys, keep fighting, and thank you guys for watching and giving me all this support.